You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lain, here every week talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. We are well into the holiday season, which is great. We've had our first cold, which is even better. Tired of fighting the bugs. Oh my goodness, my own garden's aphids are going crazy. Aphids love bright days, cool nights. In fact, if you get a little frost, they go even crazier, and they love the taste of evergreens, especially pine trees. They love the taste of aspens and apples and fruit trees and your pansies sometimes. But definitely get on to the bigger, beefier things. There's two basic kinds of aphids. There's tree aphids, which are generally, kind of depends on what they're eating, black in color. They'll be up towards the newer growth, up towards the tips of your pine trees. They'll be at the tips of your apples. Sometimes it'll be all over the aspen trees. They love the taste of poplars, Populus tremuloides, trembling leaf poplar aspens. They love the taste of those. And you'll see little droplets of sap down on top of the rocks, on top of the hood of your car, on your walkways. If it looks like it's wet, I know we've had a little moisture a few times here, but even when the rains aren't here, it still looks wet. There's only one thing that will cause that, and it's probably going to be a tree aphid. Big steroid looking. It looks like a spider almost. It's so big. And they'll be by the hundreds. And so they don't cause death, but they can cause some tip burn, some curling leaves. You really don't want them on your trees. If you see that, you come in, talk to us, and we'll get you a systemic drench. We make a tree and shrub systemic drench, and you mix up with water and can pour it right at the base of the tree, and it absorbs it and it takes them out for the long term. When they can also get on your roses. They've been on my roses. Doggone it, they're driving me crazy. On my ceanothus, they've been on what else are they on? A bunch of different things out in the gardens. And so I've been spot treating those. That's a different kind of aphid. They're cousins, but they're not exactly the same. They're usually smaller in size. They're cute. They're usually green, like a bright, not Kelly green. It's hard to describe the green, but it's green color. Especially, they're like the color of rose stems. They love the new taste of roses. They start eating rose sap and they turn that color. So they can be hard to identify when they first start. Then you start looking closer and go, what is going on with that? They're getting wilty. What is going on? It's aphids. So you just spray them usually you spray those with a oil right now. Horticultural oil is so efficient, so environmentally friendly, affordable. It's kind of the way to go. Safe for dogs, safe for birds, bad for aphids. So you spray those, but this is when they grow like crazy and they will keep going. You think, oh, we've had some chill. No, aphids are like this. They like it even more. So they'll actually grow faster. So keep an eye on it and don't let them get a hold in your gardens. Some things I'm doing right now to prepare my gardens for winter as we transition into things. The leaves have dropped pretty seriously. A couple trees are bare. A couple trees still have foliage, and some are just starting to go bright red, like Bradford pears, bright red right now. They're spectacular. Oh my gosh. It's what autumn is all about. They're really good. And so if you've had plants that have spotting on the leaves, any kind of tear, any kind of blemish on the foliage, you do not want to compost those branches. You don't want to pick them up here and go spread them over there. You want to pick those up, put them in a trash bag, put them in your canister, and have the city haul those things out of here. If you're out in the county, add them to the burn pile. Get rid of those dogs, because that disease that's on the leaf, if it sits there in the yard or in the compost pile and your compost doesn't completely kill it off, the birds will come peck around. The voles, the mice, the pack rats, the bugs will come peck around in that compost. And then they'll fly up on the new growth on your tree with brand new foliage next spring. And then it instantly comes right back on the plant. The way you break that cycle is cleanliness. Clean that stuff up and get it off your property. Don't try to compost it. I'm big into composting. I have a lot of compost, but I try to delineate, is this good compost or bad? So if it's any kind of problems, if I've had aphids on there, if there's any kind of black spot, powdery mildew, white coating on the foliage, I want to get rid of that stuff. So, or give it to a friend or neighbor you just don't like. Have it spread all over their yard, which is what it just spread so easy. You clean it up, throw it away. And so, and composting, you compost, my compost gets warm enough. You just don't know for sure. Why introduce a question mark into your garden equation? And so that's one thing I'm very purposely doing. Another one that I'm doing, so if I've got some new plants, I've planted some new trees, shrubs, got a new rose bush out there. I've got a new lilac I planted, I've got some beautiful new euphorbias I just planted. Since summer I've planted. I'm insulating the soil around those gardens, around those plants with a thick layer of shredded cedar bark. It doesn't have to be bark. It could actually be composted or premium mulch, but I'm putting a layer around there because I don't want that soil around that plant to freeze and thaw, freeze and thaw, freeze and thaw. I want it to either stay frozen or don't freeze at all. What I don't want is that freeze and thaw, the soil will start to heave, especially as we go closer to the end of the year, especially as we go to the end of the year. I don't want that soil to freeze and thaw. You've had some new root hairs forming in that surrounding soil. The plants are still kind of sensitive. And so I don't want that freeze and thaw cycle to break those new root hairs. They're new, they're baby roots. And so as that plant matures, next year, they're pretty sturdy roots closer to the branch, closer to the plant. But right now, because it's pretty new, I'm going to put a 2 to 3 inch layer of usually mulch or shredded bark. And that will keep the frost line, keep that soil from heaving, from cracking, from thawing, then freezing, thawing, then freezing, thawing, then freezing. It's terrible for plants. So I'm going to pamper. It's going to be nothing but good. And if in doubt, do it anyway, because it can only be a benefit. It can't be a harm. So I'm doing that. The other one that I'm doing for my pond is I've got a big pond. I've got several fountains. So my below ground fountains, I've got some big granite pieces. I'm moving those run times. I don't run it 24/7. I've got them on a timer. I've got them on an Alexa device. I go, Alexa, run it from basically when I'm out there reading the paper in the morning or at the end of the day when I get home. Well, that's when it's frosty right now. I'm not out reading the paper right now. It's too cold, but I want it running for the birds. So I've modified those times to run from 10 to 2, middle of the day, when I know I'm not going to be freezing. This is my winter cycle right now. I'm moving it so it's only going to run when I'm not going to be building up ice. Same for the pond in the back. I got a full-on 1,000-gallon pond, full-on pond with a water feature and a creek going through it. It's spectacular. It sounds good. I generally run it in the morning because the birds like it. My robins are out there bathing the other day. But right now I don't want ice. So I'm going to run it usually middle of the day again, so that that cycling kind of thaws the ice out. And lastly, I broke out my pond de-icer. So I actually put it in the pond. I don't have ice yet, but I'm preparing it. I'm ahead of time. It's a basic, it looks like a rock. It floats on the water. It's got a thermostat. So when it gets close to freezing, automatically activates a little bit of heat. Doesn't warm it up like a spa. It just keeps a hole open. And then I plug that in. I just keep it floating there all winter. So those two things, adjust your times so they're running when it's not freezing. And it's time, if you do have ponds, don't let that pond freeze over solid. It's not good for your fish, not good for your birds. It's just not good for your pumps. Keeps it open. So those are some things I'm doing. Okay, maybe after decades of the same fruitcake exchange, it's time to start a new holiday tradition.
A living Christmas tree from Waters Garden Center can be decorated and enjoyed for a lifetime, not just a season.
When the holiday festivities end, gather family and friends and plant your tree together for years of enjoyment.
As your family tree grows, have a tree that grows with your family. From Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.